What else do you want to talk about, DJ? Give us another story to talk about.
So it's kind of weird with this whole Nathan Hale situation. They had.
You mean how you go from being completely irrelevant in Washington?
Yeah. I put in the script.
Academy?
My little brother Brady went up and played Nathan Hale 2 years ago and beat him by 20. And that PLP team was not very good. Just throwing that out there. But yes, they went up.
You left, right?
Yeah.
You said it, not me. So yeah, they went up there and beat him by 20, and I was like, man, like I've never heard of Nathan Hale, and they've been irrelevant for 52 years. They won their first league title in 52 years. And how did they do this, you might ask? Well, they had, I think it was 7 guys transfer in. Obviously, you have the Porter brothers, who their dad was hired at UW as an assistant to Lorenzo Romar. And that hasn't worked out either.
Weird.
Yeah. And Brandon Roy was hired as the coach. Mm-hmm. And then they also have, I think, PJ Fuller, who's, I think, USC is hot on his trail right now, and I think that's where he will go. But like I was saying, 7 transfers. And, you hear some things through the grapevine. You don't know if they're true or not. But I have heard that some of the guys just say they're homeschooled. So that's pretty much, like, they live in the district, but they say they're homeschooled. There's something just a little fishy about that. Like, how much schoolwork are they actually doing, or are they just strictly playing basketball? So I think with this whole, like, Tacoma has an open school district too, and it just kind of raises some questions for me, because I'm not really a fan of kids being able to transfer wherever they feel so as, like, pleased as to going. But what are you guys' thoughts on this?
Well, coming from Skyline High School, there were a lot of rumors that kids were transferring just to play football, but
Were they? And the rumors right now. End of.
Were they? End of. Do you?
No,
I don't want to believe so.
But
there's a but.
I'm just messing with you, Lacey.
But I don't know. I think for some kids in high school, if you're not on a standout team or a program that's well known in high school, that kind of takes away from your chances of playing in college, maybe.
That's true. I see.
And so for some kids who maybe live in a low income area or don't live in a well known community, they're trying to get their name out there so that they can make a future for themselves.
Yeah.
I guess that's my 2 cents on that.
So we're going to stay away from the fact that Lorenzo Romar hired the Porter brothers' father. We'll stay away from that because
that was a great move on his part.
Because that's a great hire, but it's like inches away from a huge NCAA investigation violation.
He's toting the line.
It's the only reason the Porter brothers are all committed to going there, for the record. Once Romar loses his job and goes somewhere else, Missouri, they're probably all going to change.
That's the reason you keep Lorenzo Romar.
Yeah, that is exactly the reason Lorenzo Romar will hold on to his job. As far as coming from California, the CIF is very, very stringent on transfer students. Like, if you try to transfer for any reason other than your family is moving, or you can show a stiff academic reason, they either block your transfer, they'll take away your eligibility. Mm-hmm. It is very quick. It is very efficient. And if you try to transfer within a conference or out of conference to someone we could possibly play in the playoffs, you're a pariah. They won't touch you. So coming from California to here, when I hear of these guys who play for 4 different high schools.
Yeah. Well,
I'm that's not a thing.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be able to do that. This isn't AAU. Mm-hmm. You go to school where you live, and you play basketball for who you go. If you want more exposure than that, you play AAU like the rest of us had to. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But Nathan Hale going from irrelevant to beating Oak Hill Academy, the #1 high school program in the nation.
Yeah.
Just doesn't work.
And being, as someone who has grown up in this area and played AAU basketball, high school basketball, this happens all the time.
Oh, yeah.
And like Lacey was saying, if they come from a bad school, or then they'll try to improve their situation. But I've known guys that have have been on good teams, and they move up to like Rainier Beach or Garfield just to form super teams. It's like NBA free agency.
It is.
Like you're just forming super teams just to try and win like state or something like that. I feel like it just takes away from the competition sometimes.
It does.
So what about football then? You talk about AAU and basketball, but there's no such thing as club football.
Yeah, you're
Correct.
right.
Well, there isn't right now, but I said that's why we were talking about basketball in this case.
Yeah, football is a little bit different.
Football's a little bit different.
Are we wrapping this up, Christian?
Yeah, we got to wrap up and go to break here. We're running out of time.
We got to get to name that loot.
We got to play a little Name That Loot, and that's what we're going to do.
Sorry, my story was so good.
It was just a great story.
So was mine too. So was
Yours was, it was on this, it was there.